President Taco Tits has no strategy, no foreign policy, just impulse and vibes. And he has broken this situation with Iran, and he has colluded now with war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu. And Iran is responding. Put up this headline. Iranian state media says missiles launched against U.S. bases in Qatar and Iraq in response to strikes.
This surprises me zero. I feel like Donald Trump never thinks about consequences. He does what he thinks he needs to do right then, never considering that he is not in charge of the rest of the world and that actually he's a laughingstock and no one is scared of him.
You know, this is a guy who he vacillates from, like, he can talk about a flagpole in great detail and give a presentation about the flagpole while Israel is being incredibly provocative with Iran, and he's out there, you know, having his show and tell party. Because literally, I know I say this all the time, but if anybody showed me video of this guy, I'd go, did he get a day pass from the nursing home? Is he out? Is everybody just got him a day pass? Because this is what drives me crazy about legacy media, corporate media, is they jump into the stories with all of this assumption that somehow he's operating full tilt. You know,
you just can't assume that with this
and
man.
he's not.
He's not.
And that's like the lead every single day should be that we have this disjointed, disoriented, very confused. And I don't know if it's intentional or not intentional, or if he even thinks deep on it, but just simple questions like, who started the Russia-Ukraine war? If he had just talked to Putin that day, then he's going to say Ukraine started it. And if he talked to somebody like the president of Finland, then he switches gears. His policy is based on the very last conversation that he had. So if you and I were to get him in a straitjacket and padded cell and pump him full of a bunch of stuff and manipulate him, then he would base his decisions based on conversations with you and me. And we're not experts at anything except for bullshitting.
Right. Well, and he surrounds himself with people that will only kowtow to him, that will not actually tell him what is real and what is his delusions of grandeur.
Which is terrifying, because these dictators and people who have dictatorial aspirations know this, and they know how to manipulate him. And rest assured that Benjamin Netanyahu, he is doing evil shit, and he's smart. And because he wants to stay in power, and he is not benefiting at all the Jewish people in the least bit. And the same with Russia. Vladimir Putin has the same types of goals: to cling on to power, to start wars, to cling on to power. Doesn't benefit the Russian people at all. And now we're in that group.
Right. Now we fall right in line.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Next up, Trump is posting. Did I hear former President Medvedev from Russia casually throwing around the N-word, nuclear, and saying that he and other countries would supply nuclear warheads to Iran? Did he really say that, or is it just a figment of my imagination? If he did say that, and if confirmed, please let me know immediately. You're the fucking president of the United States. You shouldn't have to send out a post to find out what another world leader says. He goes on, the N-word should not be treated so casually. I guess that's why Putin's, quote, the boss. By the way, if anyone thinks our hardware was great over the weekend, far and away the strongest, best equipment we have, 20 years advanced over the pack, is our nuclear submarines. They're the most powerful and lethal weapons ever built, and just launched the 30 Tomahawks. All 30 hit their mark perfectly. So in addition to our great fighter pilots, thank you to the captain and the crew. So first of all, this is what psychiatrists call flight of ideas, where he started talking about a conversation that he should be having with his administration about this very advancing geopolitical instability that's going on in the world. But he's calling out to the cult to let him know what's going on. And then he goes on talking about the strikes and if our military is good, which tells me the strike might not have been as successful as mentioned in his 4-minute speech.
Absolutely agree, because he's just on and on social media. Here, I read this and I think, if you put this in a movie about the president of the United States and I watched it, I would say there is no way someone that unhinged would ever be president of the United States. And even if he was that unhinged, no one around him would allow him to talk that way. And yet here we are. This is real.
And to Pump's point earlier, he doesn't think anything through. So he gets a leash put on him by Benjamin Netanyahu and dog walked right in to bombing Iran. He doesn't think about one of his big promises to the MAGA base is he's going to bring down gas prices. Well, what does conflict in the Middle East do? It raises gas prices. So here is his economic strategy. Again, he takes to Lie Social, this time caps lock, 6:35 a.m. Everyone keep oil prices down. I'm watching. You're playing right into the hands of the enemy. Don't do it. I can't. The fact that he doesn't understand even just an elementary understanding about supply and demand and access and transport is staggering. But again, this man is such a bullshit artist. He can go out to the American public and just blow hard and just bullshit, jet streams of bullshit. Eggs are going down. He says eggs have gone down 400%. By his math, the grocery store should be paying us for eggs right now. And so he just takes, and I guess what just still bothers me, because nothing surprises me that this man does, is how many people read this stuff and just imagine having to take a 180 all the time and changing. America first, make America great again. He tweets yesterday, make Iran great again. So then what do? Do you make new MAGA hat? Like, how do you, what's going on? Is it just such a cult and I just can't relate to it in the least? How do they go along with all this? Are they stupid?
Well, obviously they're stupid, and they do. They flip-flop on everything. But it is, it just amazes me that it never occurred to him that there might be increases in oil prices. And for him to say, keep prices down, I'm watching. You're a global laughing stock, full stop. Nobody is worried about what you're going to do regarding their oil prices. Look at the 90 deals in 90 days. Look at the tariffs. This man is an abject failure. And as he likes to say, everybody knows it.
Okay, here's another. He's taken again online. To the Department of Energy, drill, baby, drill. And I mean now. Who's going to tell him?
Do you think anybody will tell him?
Who's going to tell him?
I don't know. Unless he hears it on Fox News.
That the Department of Energy doesn't drill for oil.
Correct.
It's just, it's just unbelievable. But this is some of this, this post George W. Bush Republican Party. It's all this drill, baby, drill, like, let's just, browbeat environmentalists. They're crazy. Meanwhile, temperatures, everybody is feeling it, the effects of climate change. And soon they're all going to feel the effects of the attack on research and science and medicine, because there's going to be an increase of disease in this country. And they're going to feel it. And I guess what is just so alarming to me is how powerful the propaganda is from the right wing, and their sole mission in life is to own the libs. Like that's it. That's the hill they die on. There's no helping people. There's no, okay, we're on this fuel now. It's warming the environment. What is a crossover fuel? There's no logic. There's no thought pattern as to leaving the space a better space than when you found it. It's just rip it all down so that the libs are so upset and we're going to drink liberal tears. Like that's their core principle.
They don't even vote for their own interests. They have voted a man who is going to cut their health insurance, Social Security, so that you're giving them way too much credit that they have the ability for the group of a whole. They can't even protect themselves.
Okay, and then here's some reporting that we found interesting. Seth popped this up. But even as the military planning was being conducted in secrecy, each of Mr. Trump's social media posts seemed to be telling the world what was coming. The president said one military official was, quote, the biggest threat to OPSEC or operational security that the planning faced. But there was also evidence, according to 2 Israeli officials with knowledge of the intelligence, that Iran had moved equipment and uranium from the site in recent days. And there was growing evidence that the Iranians, attuned to Mr. Trump's repeated threats to take military action, and had removed 400 kilograms, or roughly 880 pounds, of uranium enriched to 60% purity. That is just below the 90% that is usually used in nuclear weapons. And so Taco Tits, he has no game. I mean, like, he is basically telegraphing because he's such a toddler with a smartphone, and everybody just goes and looks to his tweets, and then they adjust accordingly. And this is just the fact that we're going to get involved in another war in the Middle East, which will solve nothing. Nothing.
Never does.
It is just insane to me.
What's insane to me, but not surprising, is that a military official said the president of the United States was the biggest threat to operational security. And that's over Pete Hegseth, who's telling everybody on Signal. Like, that is a stunning statement. The president is the United States, because he can't control his mouth, and his social media and his impulses is the biggest threat to operational security. That is stunning.
But, you know, when you think about it, he wanted to shoot protesters.
Right.
He's denying people due process. This is just an impulsive, like, toddler and sitting in a high chair, throwing their baby food around. And he happens to be the president of the United States, and he's surrounded himself with all these freaks. Kristi Noem is a total freak. She's a complete freak show. She shot her dog and then wrote about it in a book. And then she got awarded Secretary of Homeland Security. And it's just like, the more depraved the people are, the more he wants them.
Right.
But the most alarming part is the more the base likes it.
Yeah.
The more evil and nefarious the person is, the more they have done evil shit, like Kristi Noem shooting a dog. And I would think universally, like, Republicans and Democrats can't fathom shooting your family animal. And she wrote about it. But something in the MAGA, they're like, oh, yeah,
Her.
I mean, it's wild. But yeah, he's a complete danger to everybody at all times. And it's just unbelievable that somebody like him has gotten away with all of this shit year after year after year. And we're going on 80 years of him making terrible decisions, burning and ruining and killing everything he touches. And then 77 million Americans thought, yeah, let's give him the nuke codes and power to the United States military. Nuts. All right, that's all we have for today. We'll see you all later.